You say yes when you mean no. You laugh when something bothers you. You bend until you forget what shape you used to be. Everyone calls you easygoing, but inside, you're dissolving. It starts small. Someone asks where you want to eat. You say, I don't mind. They choose the movie, the plans, the time, and you smile, because it's easier than having an opinion, easier than the possibility of conflict. But here's what no one sees. Every time you say, I don't mind, a part of you disappears. Psychologists call this self-silencing. It's a pattern where you systematically suppress your own needs, preferences, and emotions to maintain relational harmony. And it doesn't just happen in your relationships, it rewires your brain. Studies show that chronic self-silencing correlates with increased cortisol levels, the stress hormone. Your body keeps score, even when your mind pretends it doesn't matter. You become the person everyone can count on, reliable, flexible, low maintenance. But you're not easygoing. You're erased. Here's what you need to understand. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're displaying a survival strategy, one that likely kept you safe when you were younger. In developmental psychology, this is called adaptive self-suppression. If you grew up in an environment where your needs were ignored, dismissed, or punished, you learned. You learned that being small kept you safe, that being agreeable kept the peace, that disappearing was better than being a burden. Your nervous system made a calculation. My survival depends on not making waves. And it worked. You became easygoing. But what worked then is costing you now. Let me explain what's happening in your brain. There's a concept in neuroscience called interoception. It's your brain's ability to sense what's happening inside your body. Hunger, fatigue, anger, desire. Interoception happens largely in a region called the insula. It's how you know what you need. But when you chronically suppress your needs, the insula quiets down. It's like turning down the volume on your internal radio. Over time, you genuinely stop knowing what you want. This isn't a metaphor, it's measurable. Research shows something interesting. People who constantly people-please show less activity in the brain regions that help you recognize yourself. You lose touch with the self. And here's the cruel part. The more you do this, the more your brain reinforces the pattern. Because every time you avoid conflict by staying quiet, your amygdala, your fear center, gets a hit of relief. Relief feels like reward, so your brain learns silence equals safety. But it's a false safety, because beneath the surface, resentment builds. Unspoken needs don't disappear, they calcify. So how do you break this pattern without shattering yourself? Not by becoming aggressive, not by swinging to the opposite extreme, but by rebuilding the connection between your brain and your needs. Here are 5 principles, each grounded in psychology. 1. Practice micro-preferences. Start incredibly small. Choose the mug. Choose the playlist. Choose the route you walk. This isn't about being difficult. It's about reactivating your interoceptive system. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio calls this somatic marking, your body sending signals about what feels right. But you can only hear those signals if you practice listening. 1 small choice per day. That's it. 2. Name the cost. Every time you say, I don't mind, pause. Ask yourself, what am I giving up right now? Not in a dramatic way, just notice. I'm giving up my preference for quiet. I'm giving up my need to rest. In acceptance and commitment therapy, this is called values clarification. You can't change what you don't see. Name it. That's all. 3. Separate discomfort from danger. Your nervous system treats conflict like a threat, but discomfort is not danger. This is a core concept in polyvagal theory. Your body has a defense system designed to protect you from predators, but it can't tell the difference between a tiger and an awkward conversation. Both trigger the same response: freeze, fawn, avoid. You need to teach your nervous system that stating a preference won't kill you. How? By doing it in low-stakes situations. Practice saying, "Actually, I'd prefer this," when it doesn't matter much. The coffee shop, the thermostat, the TV show. Let your body learn, "I can have a preference and still be safe." 4. Reclaim "I don't know." Sometimes you genuinely don't have a preference, and that's fine. But there's a difference between "I don't mind" and "I don't know yet." "I don't mind" is erasure. "I don't know yet" is honest. It buys you time to check in with yourself. Psychologically, this is called self-compassionate pausing. You're not obligated to have instant answers. Your needs are allowed to take time to surface. 5. Find your no threshold. Here's a strange exercise. Think of something you would absolutely say no to, something so against your values that refusal would be automatic. Now ask yourself, what makes that different from the things you say yes to? This is about identifying your boundaries through contrast. You do have limits. You've just been taught to keep them invisible. Start by knowing where the line exists, even if you don't enforce it yet. Just know it's there. Let me give you one mental model to take with you. Think of yourself as a river. For years, you've been letting everyone else decide your course. They dam you here, redirect you there, and you've gone along because water is adaptable. But a river that never follows its own path doesn't just change direction, it becomes a pond, still, stagnant, disconnected from its source. Your preferences aren't selfish, they're the current. They're what keeps you moving, what keeps you alive. You don't need to become a flood, you just need to remember you're allowed to flow. You won't fix this overnight, and that's okay. Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before you learned to shrink. You were never meant to be easygoing. You were meant to be easy with yourself. There's a difference. One choice at a time, one boundary at a time, you'll find your shape again. Not loud, not defiant, just there, fully, finally, yours.